Hello, my name is Ivy Minks, and today I thought it'd be fun to give an extensive breakdown of what all I learned and received while attending the Stimulate B2B trade show in Nashville 2025. It was brought to my attention by a company that I'm friends with called Motor Bunny that this show was even in town. Nashville never really gets cool things in terms of adult platform content, etc. events. It's just not something we have a lot of. I rushed to go get a pass and it was awesome. It was a great experience. But in order to really share that, I think it's best to tell you what I learned and what I received. I went to learn primarily. That was my goal. I wanted to go into the seminars and to the classes and learn. And I did. I didn't expect to receive as much as I did. That was shocking. I'm not promising that if you attend that you're going to receive product. In my case, I did. And so that's what I'm going to share with you first, is what all I got. Without further ado, let's dive in. You're going to be a little surprised, I'm sure. Especially if you're a model who's attended other conventions, you're probably gonna be a little surprised. It's funny because this might seem a little bit of a little double dipping action, if you will. In front of me, I have two test kits. Now this one technically wasn't given to me as like a promotional thing. It was given to me for like sort of just like a correction. This one was given to me as a promotional item. These two test kits in particular are not even their most in-depth panels, okay? They have another one that has 17 different test subjects that it will go through. These are also not pass certified, so you can't technically use this as a performer just yet, although potentially in the future that might change. It is called Taco Eggplant Peach. And I do believe that their target audience is more towards swingers and people who are a little bit more sexually adventurous and maybe just want another status and don't want to go to the doctor. This is a solution. Now, on the other side, this is ProDX Health. ProDX Health has the same arm device as listed here, but they are pass certified. They do things a little bit different, although ultimately it's still testing for 13 different potential risks. So if you're a performer, ProDX. If you're just a person looking to know your status, trying to stay safe as best as you can, I want to consider Taco Eggplant Peach. They had a booth presented by Like a Kitten, and the booth was dedicated to making charm bracelets. It was so freaking cute, and you could make as many as you wanted. They had a lineup of staff making the bracelets too, or you could make your own. I made several, and I also took some that were pre-made. Here's the one I'm most proud of that I designed. Isn't that amazing? And they had these customized little logos for the show. I think that's so great. And Like a Kitten is a toy company. They have so many non-phallic, very cutesy toys out on the market right now. Here's one of their vibrators that came as a potential win in a grab box here, I believe. Or maybe it was just a separate item that they brought for the event. Pretty sure it's something you can get from them though. But they had these. Oh my God. Labubuhu. Labubuhu. I don't know her, but I do know this. And this is cute. There are 12 potential prizes. They had all those prizes available on display at their booth, but they did have a moment where they just put a box of these out at the little bracelet stand. And I happened to be there at that time, and that's how I got one of these. But, look how cute. And they are just as adorable on the box as they are in real life. That's the best part about it. I highly recommend looking into their products if you're into cutesy decor. I already opened it technically, so it's not in the package anymore, but I couldn't throw away the box. So here is what I got from my mystery box, which couldn't have been more perfect. Out of all the things in those 12 prizes, this is my favorite. I like that it's not too sharp. I love the way this feels. Quite a fan. So you should probably get 12 boxes so that you can find all 12 toys. Not sponsored though. And of course, they threw in a few little extra goodies like these adorable little toy bags that do display some of the products in which they sell. And you can tell again, like all these are non-phallic, very cutesy, especially like this one, the banana at the top that comes up and becomes a suction toy. We love a multifaceted product. The cupcake that licks. So many cute little toys. So many. You'll have to go do your own research, but just know I got some deals, some goodies. Another really fun female-owned business, if I'm not mistaken, was Bridget's Botanicals. Again, all these are not sponsored. I am just talking about them because I want to. A big part of like my influencing style, especially if you know me for the Bratty Tourist project that I started, is that I don't get sponsored most of the time. I just want to do it, so I do it. And hopefully later the relationship gets established. See what I'm going for? But here we are. I was given some samples. This is a botanical arousal oil. I believe it's more for aromatherapy, whereas this one's an ingestible sample. Let's play around. Very floral, very floral. But I've already grown pretty fond of this. It sits at my desk with me right now. I'm not sure how long it'll sit at my desk with me. Maybe forever, who knows? But for now, it's sitting at my desk. And I have not had a chance to try this tea, but it is an aphrodisiac. So, use with caution. I'm excited. I love tea. As I mentioned before, I became aware of the Stimulate Expo in Nashville because I am friends with Motor Bunny. Motor Bunny, if you don't already know, is a very interactive and ambitiously innovative product, or series of products actually, not so much just one, but they are known primarily for their Motor Bunny. But this is the Playmate. And I recently did a video scene with Tyler Ford for Motor Bunny demoing this product, right? Okay. So you plug it in with a USB-C adaptable controller and then connect your toys. It can control up to 6 devices from their line at the same time. You can have more than one device, more than one Playmate, more than one controller. It's kind of cool. With that being said, let's move on to the next product, which I cannot wait to share with you. These are so cool. I can only show you the backs of the packaging because the fronts are a little too spicy for YouTube, but this is Huge Wick, and they make both unscented and scented pillar candles, as well as other massage wax play candles. Yeah, you heard that. This is also a massage candle. It can be used for wax play, and it does burn at a higher temp than, say, their, I don't know, 10s. And they smell really good. Very sweet scented, but they are releasing a line coming soon for a more cologne-y masculine scent. I thought they were really cool. Isn't that so nice? I don't know, maybe I'm just living under a rock, but I'm pretty sure I haven't seen any BDSM play candles like this just yet, especially not ones that melt at a high temp and then also become a massage cream. Not yet. And this one is the unscented one. So as close to unscented as you can get. Of course, it's gonna smell a little bit like what it's made out of, which is soy and sunflower, if I'm not mistaken. That is correct. I tested it while at the expo, and I agree. It was very soft, not too sticky. Happy camper. And so you should keep your eye out for what I have to say about these in the future. So I know I mentioned these briefly, but these are the 10s. They're pretty sizable. I have small hands, but they're not small. 10s. This I got selected in a scent test. They had a variety of roller balls in which you could test and smell you usually would want to close your eyes to get the most out of the aroma experience. And that is how I selected this scent, which is Honeydew, which I find crazy because I generally do not like honeydew as a fruit that I eat, but as a scent, it's phenomenal. I believe there's also cucumber as an element in the Honeydew candle. I love it. I love it as a candle, but I want to make sure that I use it with intention because it has such good ingredients. The other one is listed as Not So Vanilla. It's like, it's not just vanilla. I can't remember if it's strawberry or cherry. Maybe it's cherry. I don't know, but it is nice. It is like a dessert. Can you believe that I'm not even done? That there's still more for me to show you. I haven't even got to the education portion yet because I do have educational stuff to talk about as well. They had these cocktail waitresses, pseudo sort of cocktail waitresses, walking around with trays. And on the trays, they were displaying products. Okay. On one of the trays, I received this. It's a pleasure pod. I haven't opened it yet, so maybe we'll do that together. The pleasure pod apparently is a pH-friendly solid lubricant or a moisturizer. Ooh, like an egg. Like a Kinder egg, but it's not. Oh. I wonder if there is a container in which you can put this back in. Other than that, it's a good formula. It doesn't really smell too strong of any fragrance or perfume. It's kind of just like what it's made out of smell. It smells like a cocoa butter, basically. A little bit slippery, but not bad. I personally prefer moisturization. I wonder how it does on my tattoo. Tattoos. Will it have like an intense before and after? Maybe. It says deep moisturization, so let's give it a go. If this works, it should make my tattoo look darker. I'd say that helped. Certainly helped. Just like the pleasure pods, the waitresses slash cowgirls, cowboys? I think it was supposed to be cowgirls or boys. I really don't know. They weren't serving drinks. They were mostly just presenting products. But I also received this little guy. I wish I knew more about it, so I'm just going to have to test it and find out. But it says sugar penines? Self-sweetener. Self-sweetener was, hear me out. Okay. Self-sweetener. That probably means one thing. I drink this and then, yeah. Okay, right? Right. Okay. It says there are 9 pineapples worth of bromelain per bottle. I'm assuming that is like the primary chemical in pineapple that, you know, can change your pH, potentially. Plus mango, papaya, cranberry, and cinnamon equals sweet kitty meow meow. Fascinating. I'm gonna give this a go on my next date night. Of course, there's also going to be some novelty items that are not anywhere near as substantial, but still just as appreciated. Like Sport Sheets had plenty of stickers, these pins. These are really cool pins. It's a highlighter too. Big, oh, you twist, okay, and then boom. Big fan. I don't know, it's the simple things in life. I never want to pay for a pen again. And then a little notebook. Lovely, so cute. Big fan. Speaking of notebooks, I also got a conference journal because, oh, your girlie went and learned a little bit about insurance and policies that play into the adult and risky businesses department. Another booth that I was able to chat with and have a little cute moment with was the Winx booth. And they got a lot for ladies. They have emergency contraception, birth control pills, if I'm not, nope. They have pregnancy tests. They have vaginal health probiotics, which is what I'm going to be testing, as well as UTI and BV and all kinds of just interesting ways of treating your body better. You're not going to be left stranded if you're using wigs. And again, I'm not sponsored right now. I'm just being a good Samaritan. Okay? Okay. Gyms. Do you want some vegan condoms? How about some medical grade lube? That's what this is all about. These are so cute. In terms of packaging, I'm eating it up. But I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation we had at her booth, and I cannot wait to put these to test. I wonder what the difference is going to feel like. And I know the lube is great because I tested that myself already. So be sure to give it a gander if you haven't already and you're looking for a more hyperallergenic and vegan-friendly condom or lubricant alternative. They are silicone-based lubes as well as, again, fully vegan condoms. That matters to some people, you know? So Jessica Drake was at the Wicked lubricant booth and decided that I needed to have this many. My bad, this many. But this is my favorite one, and it's not lube. It's a massage cream, and I believe Jessica helped develop this. So, I'm too stoked to learn about it. I'm honestly deeply inspired. It makes me want to play around with scents myself. Especially with the concept of sage. I love sage scented things. I love green. I am hype. I'm so hype. This one is orange blossom and patchouli. Like, come on. This is a spa scent. This is not just a cute little haha. We're a sex toy lubricant company. Patchouli and orange blossom? Sage and salt? You know what you're doing, don't you? She does. She certainly does. Yeah, all right. I'm surprised. I'm pretty sure, apart from this pile of stickers, that was about everything that I received. I'd certainly say it was worth it. I definitely did not leave empty-handed, and for the price of my ticket, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. But besides what I received, here is what I learned from the seminars and from my experience as a whole. I personally wrote out a schedule. I wrote down time blocks and what classes I wanted to attend and where I wanted to be at what times in general, which is what a fucking schedule is. I don't know why I'm explaining that, but I did. I made a schedule. And I stuck to my schedule. I'm proud of that, that's for sure. I made time for fun and I made time for nourishment. They had lunch from 11:30 to 3, which was extremely nice, as well as coffee, water, lemonade. Just nice. Nice to have refreshments. From the seminars at Stimulate, I learned that insurance and liability is really for everyone that is selling physical products or in general products that can be worthy of such suing tendencies. So if you have a contract, you should have insurance. Because if you get sued or someone else gets sued and they're under the same contract, you can be held into the need for defense, and that's where things get expensive. Fascinating. Not something I thought I needed to know, but a good example that was given to us in that seminar was there once was a person who was trying to break into somebody's house, and they fell through a sky roof and landed on a cutting board. I believe got injured. So they sued the homeowners, of which they were trying to burgle. Yes, the guy who was trying to break into their house fell through the ceiling and then sued the people who he was trying to commit the crime onto, and then won. Insurance is necessary sometimes. And it says as well in my notes that You can get sued for contracts as well. So don't forget that part. That was something I felt like I needed to write and say twice. Another note I took was a type of acronym that I might hear and not recognize. So NPPI. What is NPPI? Do you know what NPPI is? Non-public private information. We don't share that. Sharing that is a crime. Okay, cool. And exploiting people's privacy is also one. Okay, cool. Another thing that I learned, and I knew that, but now I know the term NPPI that better describes it in terms in which I might see in a contract. Insurance protects you before the mess happens. So say they had insurance policies in place to protect, I guess, from burglars falling from the sky. It would have covered the fall and liability for it. But because they didn't, it didn't. And that's how we have this story. It's good to be protected before you need the protection. What are the biggest risks that I am taking with my business? That was a prompt given to us before we left. And I do intend to fill it out. I haven't finished that yet, but I think we could all ask ourselves that question if we are independently operating. What are the biggest risks that you're taking within your business? Oh, and of course, know your revenue. When you're applying for policies, you apply for the policy in which you fit under, right? But you can also apply for policies back when you make nothing. So if you have a $0 revenue, you can still apply for policies to protect it, regardless. And if your revenue goes up, the policy goes up, and that's just how that is. Another class I took was with Dr. Tara, which is a very popular and successful sexual wellness coach on TikTok and Instagram. And she was going into how to build your empire in the sexual wellness industry. She mentioned that it's important for you to pick a lane and to be clear. Not to mention dressing for the part in which you are trying to get. If you want to be a CEO, you can't show up wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Just not how that works. I learned that lesson too, first-hand experience. Oh, and 90% is better than perfect. So don't wait to release things until you think they're ready. Release them when you can. Release them now. Do it before it's perfect. Consistency outweighs perfection and proficiency. And if you don't do it, this is my own take, but if you don't do it, someone less qualified than you will. And I don't think you want to live through that. I certainly don't enjoy doing that. Hence why I'm attending business conferences. She also mentioned when developing a personal brand or company wellness, whatever, it takes a team. And she made a reference to the Avengers, but she also made a joke saying, like an orgy, it takes a group. So make sure that you are surrounded by good people who are supportive to you and have your best intentions at heart. Not to mention people who have purpose within your business. Don't just keep around individuals just because they are your day ones. Keep around people who are able to uplift you now. That's good. Have a strong team of qualified people working with you on the same project rather than just trying to conquer everything by yourself. You do not win alone in this industry. As much as you can try, you have to have a team. Ooh, another thing that she recommended was making a brand book. So a brand book contains all of your fonts, the colors and palettes in which you like to use for your brand, as well as your overall energy and vibe that you bring to the internet. So knowing what that looks like and being consistent within that helps people identify your brand before they really even are watching the video. They see it, they know it, it clicks, and you become a figure. Neat, huh? CTA, another acronym that you may not know. Do you know what CTA stands for? I feel like I'm on PBS. All right, CTA is a call to action. That is what we need to be implementing when talking or even promoting our content. So not just behind the paywall sites, but also on the short format sites. You have to have a call to action. You can talk about yourself all you want, but if there's no share this with so-and-so or do XYZ at the end, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you doing something? Are you just posting? Do you have a call to action? Do you have a purpose for that post? Let's find out. Another thing to potentially use when you're applying a call to action type strategy, i.e. a post that's meant to direct promotions in one way to a specific channel, you want to invoke emotion with what she calls bubbles. So saying something funny with a visual cue while, talking about something a bit more serious in a lighthearted manner. So, I don't know, taking a prop and being like, is pain the gain? And then, which is a terrible example, but you get my gist. One example that she gave was a bagel covered in cream cheese and red jam to represent period, for period sex. But you can't just visually show that, but giving a visual aid, taking a bite of it while talking about it invokes emotion. And that's a bubble in her book, or at least in her perspective. It's called positive shock. What else works for social media? It's important to find what you do best, but she recommends potentially leaning into story times, short and punchy tags, community opinion posts where you ask about what others are thinking of this certain topic, or dynamic visuals. What does not work? Low energy or over-educating, which is probably what I'm doing right now. Make content when ovulating. Needless to explain on that. I think we get it. It's a good idea. Pleasure is not a luxury, but it is a pathway to healing, was spoken, or at least quoted, by Dr. Melissa Gentry at another presentation that I attended. And I really kind of flew through these notes, so I'm just gonna jump. I only have 2 more pages left, so bear with me. Okay, cool. Nice. Your biggest asset and investment are people. Yeah, you heard that right. The people representing and sharing you matter. The people who are subscribing to you matter. The quality of them, the consistency of them, all of that is affected and represents your brand. You should be aware of it. And you need accurate and up-to-date data to fully understand what is or isn't a part of your brand. Unfortunately, due to the influx of obscenity laws and censorship laws that have been coming into effect in the United States, some of our data might not be completely accurate because people are using VPNs to access parts of the internet they may not have access to otherwise. So don't get upset if you're noticing some inaccurate data, because it is what it is. That's just a part of this process we're going through. But it is important to get as close to accurate data as possible so that you are representing your brand's needs as best as you can and show up for them. Talk about sex in a friendly and helpful way when trying to sell whatever you're trying to sell, especially if you're in the wellness industry. Open, trust, and reduce shame with each conversation that you have. Don't let people feel as if that they don't deserve to understand their pleasure if you can educate them and you're knowledgeable enough to help. That's just worth its weight in gold. And I think more of us could be taking calls to action in that regard. Kink-informed certification directors were present at the Stimulate event, and we were able to learn from them. And I cannot wait to potentially even start my journey of becoming one. That'd be very fun. It's also important, if you are interested in pursuing similar roles as myself, to offer to educate or to be educated while asking open-ended questions, not only to your clients, but to your mentors. You want to know more, correct? So let's ask. We need to ask. I took some more classes on day 2, and the last page of notes is dedicated to those specific ones. The first one was a seminar, or more of a conversation, about trauma. And one line that stuck out to me in particular from that session with Like a Kitten's team was that trauma is like washing the same dish, even if it's not dirty, and it keeps reappearing even if you don't use it. It was very impactful. That whole seminar was just very teary-eyed for a lot of people. And I've developed so much respect and empathy towards this brand. I may be a little bit biased, but it is important to be aware that it's something that doesn't really go away. We learn to deal with it or wash it faster, but nonetheless, it's a dish that will stay in our kitchen. It just is. You can't break it. It'll come back to you. Good luck breaking it, by the way, if you're gonna try that route. Another note I took from that specific seminar was become aware of the spaces in which bring you pleasure or take away from your peace and comfort. So what were my biggest takeaways from the Stimulate Expo 2025 in Nashville, Tennessee? I took away from that I love sales. I used to work at Lion's Den back when I was getting started in the adult industry. I worked there for about a year and I was a great salesperson. Loved it. Loved the job, and I quit because I ended up pursuing this career full time. I mean, it happened. I worked really hard to be a model and to do it within like a very safe way. So I didn't just jump into it before I had the money to sustain myself. I worked a job. I worked a job relevant to it as well. So I sold products and videos. I still enjoy that. I still enjoy e-commerce and management, and I think that there's a lot of room for growth if I continue that. I could even see myself doing some, seminars myself, speaking. I could write some books, do some coaching. Who knows? I am pretty open-minded and optimistic about the future. Not because this expo taught me so much about myself, but just it exposed me to the room in which it happens, and now I'm aware that I could be there too. There's space, there's room. I can do that, and I will, and I want to. I do believe after this event, I would like to attend more B2B events and potentially attend XBiz LA, which is generally one of the lesser party, more, seminar-based events within my own industry of this umbrella, or my own subgenre of this industry, whichever you want to call it. And I would like to take that time seriously, to take notes and to learn, because in the past I've attended, but I wasn't as fixated on that type of growth as I am now, and I can see there being much more benefit to going now. And keep your cool. Don't make assumptions. Don't dwell on the past. Center and manage your own emotions. It's a good thing to do. It's important if you're going to work with others that you know how to manage yourself first. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. This has been my breakdown of Stimulate Nashville, and I hope to see more familiar faces attend next year. They will have another event, I believe, starting August 3rd through the 5th. Don't quote me. Do your own research. Of next year. So I'd hope to see you there. Okay, bye.